Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we will reveal some of the last footage of some extinct animals. I hope you will enjoy and have fun. Please subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to get instant notification on the next video we upload.
With the found. Number 1. Thylacine. Thylacine, also called the Tasmanian tiger, is the largest carnivorous marsupial in modern times. This creature stands at 2 feet tall and 6 feet long. Researchers say it once lived in New Guinea and Australia. It thrived in those areas before European settlement, but their days were numbered after Europeans came. Human activity caused their extinction. However, they remained longer in Tasmania, and the last confirmed animal was killed in the wild in 1930. The last one in captivity died in 1936. Despite an official declaration saying this tiger is extinct, people say they found them in small pockets in the 1980s. There were also occasional reports of sightings across Australia, although none has been substantiated. The Tasmanian tiger has 15 to 20 distinctive dark stripes from shoulders to tail throughout its back. Aside from its black eye, it has 2 small brown triangles with orange fur outside. It also had a robust jaw housing 46 teeth. This animal preferred to hunt at night and early morning. It hunted alone or in small groups. Its favorite food was birds, kangaroos, and other smaller animals. Number 2. Quagga. While this animal was famous during its heydays, only one was ever photographed. The female quagga was housed in a London zoo in 1870 and photographed there. There's no picture of this animal in the wild. Scientists say quaggas were found in great numbers in South Africa, their native home. They were hunted to extinction for hides and meat and to preserve feed for domesticated animals. The last one was killed in the 1870s, and the last held in captivity died in August 1883. In 1987, an organization named the Quagga Project began a de-extinction project. The program saw this animal's DNA tested. It meant the quagga was the first extinct animal to have its DNA examined. The research confirmed that the animal was a subspecies of zebra and not entirely a new species as initially thought. The first foal in the Quagga Project rebreeding effort was born in 1988. Researchers hope that more studies will result in individuals closely resembling the extinct animal in coat pattern, striping, and color. Number 3. Tarpan. Also called the Eurasian wild horse, the tarpan lived in the wild between 1875 and 1890. Indiscriminate hunting led to their demise, like most animals on this list. The last tarpan was killed while a hunter tried to capture it, while the last one in captivity died in 1918. Tarpans were about 5 feet tall at the shoulder and had a grullo-colored body with dark legs, thick manes, and shoulder stripes. There is some debate about the photo's authenticity, but this image was believed to have been taken in 1884. It is reportedly the only photo of a live tarpan. Scientists attempted to bring this animal back from extinction but were unsuccessful. Many argue that tarpans are not different from the domestic horses we see today. Well, the difference lies in their physical attributes. The domestic breed closest to the tarpan is the Heck horse bred by German Lutz Heck in the 1930s. He hoped to revive tarpans and conics similar to tarpans. Both species are considered untamed descendants of domestic horses. Number 4. Seychelles giant tortoise. Although this animal makes it to this list, there's some controversy over its actual state. Some researchers say it is only extinct in the wild, while others argue that it is extinct altogether. In the 19th century, the Seychelles giant tortoise was hunted to extinction. The animal resembled the modern-day tortoise species. Before it was wiped out from the Earth's surface, it lived on the edges of streams and marshes and grazed on vegetation. This meant that passers-by and hunters quickly saw it. A 2011 study found 28 adult tortoises and 40 juveniles in the wild. They were introduced to Cousin Island and are believed to be the Seychelles giant tortoises. Another animal on St. Helena Island called Jonathan recently made it to Guinness World Records as the world's oldest living mammal at age 187. Number 5. Barbary lion. The Barbary lion once lived in Morocco and Egypt. Also called the Atlas or Nubian lion, it was the heaviest and largest of the lion subspecies. This majestic creature is believed to have been used in gladiatorial combat in Roman times. Unlike other lion species, they did not live in prides due to the scarcity of food in their environment. Scientists say the last wild Barbary lion was killed in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco in 1922. A French colonial hunter was said to have gunned it down. Barbary lions were once admired for their dark manes and size. Many of them were kept by the royal families of Morocco and other North African nations. It wasn't only Africans that admired them, but Europeans too held them in high esteem. They briefly lived at the Tower of London and were displayed in European parks and zoos. They were extensively exploited in every country and city they lived in. The Arabs forced them into smaller territories, and the Romans killed thousands in their games. Europeans sealed the deal in the 19th century by sending them to the great beyond. However, it remains debatable whether some zoo animals are descendants of this lion. If yes, conservationists must devise ways to preserve them. Number 6. Western black rhino. Rhinoceros are one of the worst victims of human greed. These animals are subject to poaching because of what they carry. Thousands of documented poaching cases have been recorded for western black rhinoceros and other similar species. Once widespread in West Africa, this animal is now extinct. The IUCN declared it extinct in 2011, and since then, there's been no counterclaim. In 1930, conservationists did their best to revive the animals. The results were evident as their numbers soared. Unfortunately, things took a different turn in the 1980s when poaching increased. More people saw the need for their tusks and other body parts, and buyers from other countries increased their fees. This meant that people who needed an additional source of income took to the forests to hunt as many rhinos as possible. At the start of the 21st century, only 10 individuals were left. By 2006, they were all killed. The black rhinoceros is a smaller African species and continues to live. As you may expect, it is critically endangered, especially in the eastern and southern parts of Africa. Number 7. Golden toad. You look at this animal and wish nothing ever happened to them. The golden toad was first described by scientists in 1966 and was once abundant in the cloud forest above Monteverde, Costa Rica. In 1987, between April and July, researchers noted that nearly 1,500 adult toads were scattered around shallow pools in the forest. These bright yellow toads converged in the area to breed before retreating underground. 1 year later, scientists found only one male toad in the same area. 9 others were found some miles away. In 1989, too, one male was seen and nothing else. By 1990, they had all vanished. The reason for its extinction is unclear, but habitat loss and chytrid fungus are culprits. Regional weather changes may have also resulted in their massive death as thousands of golden toads became victims. A 1992 paper painted a more vivid picture of what happened to them. The study's authors noted that between 1988 and 1990, rainfall started after the dry season. It was not a big deal, except that it was heavier than usual. This means that the pools where these frogs used for breeding filled faster and eradicated the window of shallowness needed to breed. Number 8. Paradise parrot. The paradise parrot is one of the most famous extinct animals ever. Despite the glitz and glamour it added to the wild, it no longer lives anywhere in the world. This beautiful parrot once lived in the river valleys, woods, and native grasses in eastern Australia. It loved its home and was at peace there. This parrot is relatively small, measuring between 27 and 30 inches long. Its underbody has an emerald green or turquoise hue, while the upper wing has a brown hue and a vivid blue-tinted underwing. Sadly, it has not been spotted since 1928, leading the International Union for the Conservation of Nature to declare it extinct. They say a host of factors led to its unfortunate demise. Top on the list is predation, habitat loss, severe drought, cutting eucalyptus trees, and overgrazing of farm animals. Most of these factors are human-made. You can find these parrot species only in books and videos like this one. Nothing is known about the life expectancy or sexual maturity of the paradise parrot. However, researchers Garnett and Crowley estimate that they may have lived for up to 2 years. Number 9. Sicilian wolf. Aside from the Sicilian wolf, several local gray wolf species have suffered a severe population decline. Others have long gone extinct before scientists realize it. Whether it is indiscriminate hunting or habitat loss, their last days in the wild were tortuous. This is all thanks to humans. Among these wolf species are those that lived in Sicily, known as Sicilian wolves. At one point, they thrived on the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea until they were destroyed and gradually fizzled out. While they lived in the Siberian steppes, they were similar to those of their counterparts in Italy. The major difference is their lighter tawny-colored coat and dark band throughout their forelimb. The Sicilian wolf feasted on livestock owned by farmers and, as such, was not friends with those farmers. It meant that these people did everything possible to protect their livestock from predators. This resulted in their massive killing. Another factor that led to their extinction was the environmental disaster that wiped out most of them. They couldn't recover from the shock up till today. Number 10. Heath hen. The heath hen once lived along the east coast of the U.S. Sadly, they are nowhere to be found in the U.S. or anywhere else. This animal was a subspecies of the prairie chicken found on Martha's Vineyard in the U.S. Both animals are similar, especially in terms of physical appearance. Although the heath hen is smaller, it measures nearly 17 inches long and weighs approximately 2 pounds. These hens prevailed during colonial times. However, their numbers began to decline because they were hunted for food. Being gallinaceous birds placed them in a disadvantaged position. They went extinct for many reasons. While hunting was a significant factor, it was not the only reason for their disappearance. The birds were tasty and easy to shoot, making them easy prey. Because these birds could not contain the level of hunting, islanders devised a new method of conserving them. They resorted to habitat preservation, protecting them against predators and hunters. Wildfires were another contributing factor to their demise. It wiped most of them out quickly, making it difficult for them to bounce back. Following their extinction in 1933, Booming Ben became the last known member of the species lineage. Number 11. Japanese sea lion. The Japanese sea lion was a famous animal during its heydays. It is often found swimming freely in the ocean and basking by the bay in the Japanese archipelago and on the Korean peninsula. Researchers have spent ample time in the water and concluded that the Japanese sea lion no longer lives there. Sadly, it is only found in legends, museums, textbooks, and, again, on this channel. Before 2003, it was considered a subspecies of the California sea lion. This is so because both creatures had many similarities. It was part of the eared seal group, which differed from real seals because they had permanent ear flaps and rear flippers that faced forward. Researchers say about 30,000 to 5,000 Japanese sea lions roamed the shores many years ago, but not anymore. Most of them were wiped out in the 1970s and became extinct. Unlike most animals on this list, they had no natural enemies except humans, who hunted them for their whiskers, skin, and internal organs. They were also captured and sold to circuses. It was also a victim of harvesting and fishing-related persecution. Safe to say it went through a lot before eventually giving up on the fight. Number 12. Carolina parakeet. The Carolina parakeet once lived in southern New York, Wisconsin, and the Gulf of Mexico. These parrot species had brilliant feathers that made them attractive. They were native to the eastern U.S., living in old forests and rivers. On February 21, 1918, a male named Incas died 1 year after mating with Lady Jane at the Cincinnati Zoological Garden. This marked the end of the animal, as it has not been spotted since then. The last wild living bird was killed around the same period in Florida's Okeechobee County. Its vivid feathers come in various colors, like red, yellow, and green. Many years ago, women used them as ornaments for their hats. As a result, they were hunted indiscriminately to beautify their hats. This caused the population of this rare species to decline and never recover. Natural catastrophes like floods, fires, and other terrible environmental conditions also resulted in their extinction. They didn't also survive the deadly diseases at the time. This also contributed to their demise. Number 13, Guam flying fox. Guam is a tropical island in the Pacific Ocean. It was once home to a tiny Marianas fruit bat called the Guam flying fox. The IUCN has since proclaimed them extinct because they have not been sighted since the 1970s. It's been several years since hunters killed the last one, and there's been no reliable sighting ever since. While alive, humans and other large animals were their greatest threat. Humans were their primary hunters, as they were a reliable source of meat. When hunters are not actively scouting for them, developers clear their habitat and convert those places into living spaces. These little herbivores grow up to 14 to 15 centimeters long and weigh only 152 grams. This explains why they were an easy meal for predators. As for their appearance, they had hairy bodies and colors ranging from dark brown to brownish yellow. Little is known about their behavior, but they likely fed on evergreen shrubs, flowers, fruits, and foliage. Their reproductive habits are also sketchy, but an individual captured in 1968 suggests that male and females were involved in parental care. Number 14, Round Island burrowing boa. This Round Island burrowing boa was a snake species last seen in 1975. It had no known subspecies before its extinction. They lived in Round Island, Mauritius, and measured around 1 meter long, including the tail. It was light brown with blackish spots. This boa had a unique cylindrical head and a pointy snout. It lived in a palm savanna and hardwood forest of around 1.5 square kilometers. Although it had no specific diet, it fed on lizards, chicks, and their eggs. By 1949, researchers found little or no traces of them, so they declared them a threatened species. Years later, there was no news of them. Reports say there were only 50 individuals left in the 1970s. Conservationists are not giving up on the idea of restoring their lost habitat. They are working hard to increase the boa population in the areas where they were previously rampant. Their extinction is blamed on habitat loss occasioned by soil erosion due to rabbits and goats overgrazing. They also suffered an increase in natural prey, which reduced their numbers by a great deal. Number 15, dodo. Dodo is the second Mauritius extinct species on this list. It was a flightless bird that was around hundreds of years ago but soon disappeared into thin air. It was last seen between 1688 and 1715. By the 7th century, it was already rare, and many argued they were no more. After due research and intense studies, scientists declared them officially extinct in the 19th century. Much is not known about the bird, but paleontologists compare them to an albatross, a vulture, or an ostrich. This description is controversial because another Danish zoologist classified it as a pigeon in 1842. Based on scientific estimates, dodo females live up to 17 years, while their male counterparts exceed that mark by 4 years. This bird could run very fast, judging by the quality of their bones. It was built such that it supported their body size. Scientists are still unclear about its habitat. However, they speculate it may have inhabited the woods in drier coastal areas of South and West Mauritius. This is because the last remains were evacuated into the swamps near southeastern Mauritius. Dodos had versatile eating habits with their favorite foods as nuts, seeds, and roots. It may have also consumed shellfish and crabs thanks to its strong beak. Here's where it gets super interesting. They were never scared of humans. Instead, humans were scared of them, leading to mass killings. Number 16, crescent nail-tail wallaby. The crescent nail-tail wallaby is also called warong. This small marsupial species is one of the 3 known species of the genus named for their distinctive tails and claw-like nail or tip. It was once compared to a rabbit or hare in taste and appearance. However, it has a whitish or crescent-shaped mark, which inspired its name. The mark extends from the shoulder to the arm and ends at a point near the leg. They weighed 3.5 kilograms and had light and dark patches of fur across their body. Their fur was silky, soft, and had an ashen gray coloring with brown tones. It also had a horny spur on the tail's tip, plus attractive facial stripes. Scientists say it was timid and often hid from humans. They grazed on grass in the scrub and woodlands of central and southwestern Australia. They disappeared in the early 20th century, with their decline starting in 1908. The last species was spotted on the Nullarbor Plain in 1927 and a dingo trap in 1928. It was taken to an Australian museum where it lived until the 1950s. Number 17, Baiji white dolphin. Also called the Chinese river dolphin, the Baiji white dolphin is another animal that future generations will never meet. The last of its kind was found in China's Yangtze River and declared functionally extinct in 2006. Scientists had heard rumors of their existence around the river, but studies revealed no traces of them. These dolphins measured 2 to 2.4 meters long and were distinguished by their long beaks and pale gray skin. This appearance earned them the name Goddess of the Yangtze or Goddess of the Baiji. They were also excellent swimmers because their bodies were adapted for fast swimming. They fed on fish and had poor eyesight. Rather than their eyes, they relied on sound to navigate the murky environment. The Baiji dolphin decline began in the 1950s due to the building of dams and other structures around their habitat. This disrupted their movement and existence. Pollution from neighboring factories was also a contributing factor. The last known individual died in 2002 and is now presumed extinct. Conservation policies have since been implemented to increase their population in the Yangtze River region. Number 18, Formosan clouded leopard. This beautiful animal is one of the earliest known extinct creatures. The Formosan clouded leopard was officially declared extinct in 2013. It lived among the Rukai people, who considered hunting this wild cat a taboo. This leopard lived in Taiwan, whose former name was Formosa, thus explaining how it got its name. It was the island's second-largest carnivorous animal behind the Formosan black bear, a subspecies of the Asiatic black bear. Although this bear is still around, it is vulnerable. This leopard's most noticeable feature is its pale or tawny brown fur with markings on the sides resembling dark clouds. Its tail was shorter than other clouded leopards, making it distinct from them. Logging and habitat destruction have been named the primary reason for its extinction. The Formosan clouded leopard was an incredible climber, reaching the top of trees. They were fascinated by staying high in the sky and adapted to life in the trees. Their super long teeth helped them grab their prey firmly while on the tree. Only a few cats in the animal kingdom can climb headfirst down a tree, but this species was an expert. If I say the trees in the forest miss their presence, you understand what I mean. Number 19, woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth is an enormous creature believed to be related to the modern-day elephant. Its ancestors migrated from Africa 3.5 million years ago and spread across northern Eurasia and North America. It measured 4 meters tall and could weigh as much as 6 tons. They were covered in thick fur that sustained them at temperatures below -40 degrees Fahrenheit. As for their curved tusks, they measure up to 5 meters long. This species is the last of 9 mammoths and the smallest to roam the earth. The woolly mammoth disappeared from Earth around 10,000 years ago, thanks to indiscriminate hunting and climate change. Woolly mammoths went extinct 3,700 years ago, but most died off 10,000 years ago with the disappearance of most megafauna. The last known individual lived on Wrangel Island near Russia and died in 1700 BC. Some researchers think woolly mammoths exist in isolated populations buried deep within Siberia. Since the area is widely unexplored, it is not entirely impossible for this to be true. In 2021, Colossal, a new company, announced plans to bring back the woolly mammoth. They hope the animal will reoccupy the Siberian tundra in the next decade. Only time will tell how things will eventually turn out. Number 20, saber-toothed cat. Also called saber-toothed tigers or lions, these giant cats existed 55 million to 11,700 years ago. They were carnivores named after their elongated and blade-like canine teeth, sometimes measuring 50 cm long. Similar to bears in build, studies show they were excellent hunters who hunted animals like mammoths and sloths. These felines were so ferocious that they could open their jaws at an angle of 120 degrees. This is twice the width of a modern lion. Their decline is believed to be linked to the extinction of the large herbivores they hunted. Other possible reasons are competition with humans, the absence of megafauna, and climate change. Saber-toothed tigers were apex predators who feasted on large mammals. Not even the fiery mastodon was a match for them. They also took down giant sloths, camels, oxen, caribou, camels, bison, and other big animals. Due to their size, they required a sizable amount of food to stay alive. The average cat weighed 750 pounds and was 3 feet tall and 5.5 feet long. You probably think that these tigers are related to modern cats. Well, far from it. They are more related to clouded leopards. Fossil evidence